Hi everyone, it's Becky here. So today in this video, I'm going to show you how to draw and paint in watercolors of metallic spoons. So these are the ones in my kitchen, and I will show you my process of drawing and painting in watercolors. And I use very minimal tools to draw in my art journal. So basically 1 or 2 fine liner waterproof pens and 2 water brushes for painting, my art journal, watercolor sketchbook, and my watercolor paint palette. Okay, so I will sketch this whole vessel containing all of the spoons and spatulas. Okay, so I think the key idea that we need to pay attention to when painting metallic is to show the contrast between extreme light and extreme darkness. For example, like the stripes over here, just to make sure, leave these stripes pretty much white. And also there are a lot of highlight hot spots, like here, and all around almost every single piece of metallic thing. So here's my current watercolor art journal. I draw in it almost every day. Sometimes I just do one little sketch per day because I'm so busy, and sometimes I spend more time on it. Okay, so let's begin today's drawing session. I'm using a etcher, 0.5 fine liner to draw. So before I start drawing, I kind of visualize the proportion first. So it's like a half and half. The size, the height of the vessel is about the same height as the spoons and spatulas sticking out on top. So I'm drawing the vessel first. It is the 3D shape of a cylinder. And now I'm just adding this wooden spoon right in the middle, not being covered by anything, adding some textures. Now I'm drawing this spatula beside it, not really being covered by any others. Add a bit of hatching. And then adding another spatula beside this one. This one's not really covered by any others either. And now I am gonna draw this spoon in between. So this is all about finding the relationships. One thing beside another and one thing between two things. Adding some hatching to suggest shade. Okay, and then I'm seeing another smaller spoon here, right beside the wooden one. And right above it sticks a large spoon. Okay, and adding lines and shade using hatching lines. Some parts are like really, really dark because it's very reflective of the dark things around it, like a mirror. Pretty dark inside the vessel. And then keep building. Oh, there's another spoon right behind these ones. Adding the hose. Almost there. There's a fork there in between, pretty much covered. And now I see this colander right behind, and now I'm just drawing the parallel lines of the wires. Okay, and I think there's another spatula on the very back too, and in between is pretty dark. Adding some very light hatchings. So when I'm adding the hatching lines, I'm not pushing very hard with my pen, so the lines look very gentle. Okay, now I am drawing the hose on this vessel. They don't have to be perfect circles, just relax. Just drawing a platform, so everything stand out better from the page. And filling in inside those holes, it's pretty dark. This process is very meditative. Actually, every single hole looks different with a kind of different shade. Okay, and I think that's pretty much the drawing. So now I will paint with my Etcher watercolors with 24 half pan watercolors. So before I put color on, I like to wet the areas first with clear water. I'll paint the vessel first. So the metallic thing, usually it has like a dark turquoise color instead of black and white. I found most metallic things to be greenish gray or bluish gray or turquoise gray. They're not that kind of dead gray mixed with black and white. So now first layer, I'm just keeping everything really watery and light so I have control. As you can see, I'm leaving some spots white and being careful not to paint them in because metallics have a lot of bright spots. I think it's better to keep it light instead of painting it way too dark in the beginning. And now just painting the wooden ones, the wooden spoons, and this wooden spatula here. That's it for the first layer. So for the second layer, I am getting a bit more bold by mixing less water into the paint. And wet on wet, and leaving those lighter stripes of highlight. Again, it's a mix of ultramarine blue and green. Just kind of dark turquoise color. Some areas might be more of a ultramarine blue shade. Okay, and being really bold and just using brush strokes to push instead of over mixing. Just add brush marks. Well, some shade might be really random because the metallic things are just like mirrors reflecting things around it. So the dark and light patterns can be really random. So we have to trust what we see. I know around this stage there might be voices in our head telling us what to do instead of trusting what we see. So we have to really follow what we see. And this is metallic stuff. It's very abstract. So just pay attention to those super dark areas and just be bold. Just add those dark colors on. Add another layer for these wooden spoons, especially for the shades side there. A little bit of texture. Okay, so for this final layer, I'm just adding dark colors for those very small spaces, like those smaller areas, instead of adding too much dark colors all over. I'm only adding those dark colors in very minimal amount of areas that I see. Usually the dark spots on metallic objects are quite minimal. They don't cover a lot of large areas. And also, this is the final stage to be a little bit precise, to use thinner dark lines to accentuate the contrast. And then finally painting a really simple shadow, starting with a light mix of blue and purple, kind of lightly gray and darker around the bottom, around the edge of the vessel. Just adding some teeny tiny final polish, dark spots. Okay, and that's it. I am gonna stop now instead of overworking on it. I think it's I captured the essence of these metallic spoons and spatulas, and here's the final look.